Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. This is my complete beginner's guide to Ostranauts, and we're working with build 0.14 or build 14 at this point, and I want to thank you for joining me. In previous episodes, we talked about character creation, and then we took a tour of the station, and then we started talking about, in the last one, about gigs, and we made a little bit of money, enough that we can afford a license. And right now we're going to do a little bit of cleanup. And I'm going to go ahead and get that started, and then I'll talk about my philosophy on this particular game for just a minute. But let's learn a new command that we haven't touched yet. We're going to come over here to orders. You've got this bar here. It's got several things. I guess we can run through it real quick. In fact, there's a good reason to do that. So home opens your PDA for you. That's great. Goals. This is the goals list, which can show you current and finished objectives. So like just unpausing the world is an objective that you get to complete. I don't know that there are rewards or anything like that for these. Then settings, we can mute tutorials, which I have done. We can mute all objectives, which I'm probably going to do. And I'm going to leave the Ostraka info alone for now because that's new. I haven't seen it yet, actually. I'm not quite sure what it does. Let's go back to the current here, though. If we choose to, we can just delete these. So right now, this is hold left Alt to see hotkeys and nearby objects. So I do that. Oh, look at that. That objective is now done and it moved over here. So that's really all it is basically getting you familiar with parts of the game. Now there are some objectives that'll pop up that are more like, I'm not quite sure. So is it, yeah, this is one right here. Salvage collecting. Visit Bailey Wolf to see what they are seeking. Well, Bailey Wolf isn't here. There's a good chance Bailey is on another level right now, like maybe at commercial or Mescaform. And if we went there, they would show up and it would no longer say not on current ship. Current ship means basically the level that you have loaded. So we'll come back to that at another time and see what that's like. Let's go ahead and go through some of these other ones. And you'll notice that that duplicates what was over here. So we're going to go back to roster. This one is important. Roster allows you to set what you do at any particular time during the day. And we will want to talk about time here shortly. It looks like I was wrong on something and I want to get that corrected. Maybe I wasn't. I guess that looks like 3 of them. So I think maybe I said 3 or 4. Anyway, the hours, there are 24 hours in your day, plus there's a little extra time at the end of the day. When the first time we hit that, it'll give us a little discussion on that. Be sure to read through that. But basically, there's a period of time where it's illegal to schedule people to do work. You can choose to do work yourself, but you can't effectively tell other people to do work is what it looks like to me. I kind of thought that was interesting. But one other thing, when we have other people working for us, they'll show up in this roster and we can set the items for them to be able to get off the ship or disembark. And the thumbs up, we want our character to be able to get off the ship. Restore parts, yes. When we tell it to autotask, we want it to do things including restore. And then open airlocks. Currently it's set to no. Well, we're actually going to want that to be a yes eventually. So we'll take care of that right now. And the reason we're taking care of it now is so that we don't have to do it later. But you will want to be able to go out airlocks when you want. Your crew members, you may want to leave some of those off, particularly open airlocks and disembark. You might want to leave those off, at least initially, until you get a handle for what's going on with those things. To change any particular time slot to mean something different, you just click it and we can set it, 2 clicks will get me sleep, 1 click will get me to free, and 3 clicks would have gotten me all the way around. So it basically just goes in order. Basically, for your crew members, they will try to follow this. For you, you're able to do whatever you want. But if you have sleep time scheduled when you decide to rest, and you see down here right now, we're well rested, so we don't want to try to sleep right now. You get a better rest is what happens, and it will recharge this bar better for you. I think we're going to move on from there. We've already looked at the gigs. This hasn't changed from what we saw before. We currently don't have any gigs taken, so there is nothing to really see different here right now. Let's go to the next one, which is tasks. This is when you set up orders and things like that. It'll show you what needs to be done. I think the target is who's doing it maybe, or maybe that's duty. I'm not quite sure. When you have multiple people, I think they'll all show up in here though. And sometimes you have to come in here and clear one out because something's not working right. And we'll see how that works if we get to that happening. Power Viz, we've already looked at that once. That's what shows you where power is flowing in the game right now. That's fantastic. And then we have these two, and these are the two that I use quite a bit, install and orders. And let's talk about those here. Let's see. We'll unpause here and we'll come over here. So you basically tell your guy to do stuff and he will go do it, right? If I want him to, for instance, restore the nav station, which is a good idea, I can click on it, right click on it, of course, and then I can select number 3, or I can click here and he'll go and restore it. And that's great. And he'll continue to do that until he's done. We'll speed up time so we can see that happen. See the bars getting a little bigger. And once it gets to here, he'll stop. Okay, he stopped. We're going to pause because we don't want to waste all that time. We can do that on this oxygen tank. But this time what we're going to do is we're going to tell him to repair it. Or restore it, rather. So, and real quick, repair happens when it's below the damaged level. And repair usually requires you to have scrap of some sort. It might be aluminum or steel or carbon, something like that, in order to repair something. It can also require parts, which are motors and motherboards and heat sinks and screens. We've seen a little bit of that as well. If you're ever getting repair, the thing won't work at all. If you're getting restore, it will work, but it is not in 100% condition. We're going to want to restore this to get it to 100% condition. And while it's doing that, I'm going to say autotask. We're going to turn on autotask. And because we set this roster to include restore parts, which it actually did by default, when he is done working on this oxygen tank, right there, and we can see the level going up as he goes. You can see it over on the right side as well as this little bar here. Tick, tick, tick. Once he is done with that, he will go on and start restoring something else or repairing if necessary. Now, it will always say repair even if it's restoring, and that's fine. It's basically the same action. But now he's over here restoring floors, it looks like. Let's see. You are going to restore the floor, you restore the floor. Yep, so that's what he's working on. You're going to restore the floor, you restore the floor. So he's basically fixing these pieces to 100%. And we can tell they're not 100% because they kind of look like they have garbage and stuff on them. We click on that one, there he is. You see he's just a little bit worn down. We can click on this thruster, we'll see that it's a bit worn down, and eventually he will get to that. When you have it on autotask, they will run around and they will clean up the ship. They'll do everything they can. And as long as they have parts, if it needs to be repaired, or they have the time, they will work on restoring things. So right now this is up to 100%, which is something you want to maintain. I am going to have him actually run over here and restore the transponder. And because he's currently working on something else, let's slow time down here. We'll go down to quarter time, unpaused. So he's repairing this right now, or restoring it. Because he's doing something, I have to cancel the action and he'll stop doing that. And then I can tell it to go restore that piece, and we'll pick time back up so he doesn't look like an idiot. So you'll notice that this is much harder for him to work on, probably because he doesn't have electrical engineering. And so his multiplier is only 2. On top of that, let's see, is there a place where you can see what needs? Yes, if we float over it, he has to have those tools in order to do that work. He has to have a structure cutter, which he has the hacksaw, and he needs a welding tool, which he has the friction welder. The friction welder is a pretty decent tool. The hacksaw is not. We would want to maybe improve his lot there to continue working on this. So right now you see this 2.0. Let's see what happens. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not 100% sure I know, but whoa, slow time down there, pal. We're going to go up here to supplies, and we're going to buy some better equipment. And let's see what happens. Actually, before we do that, we want to do one other thing. We talked about the fact that they will deliver things directly to your ship. Through barter. When you do a trade, it can deliver it to your ship. We need to set that up. We're going to do that. We're going to do that by hitting the N as in Nancy key. And that brings up these zones. And currently there aren't any zones. And what we want to do is pick what we want our cargo hold to be. For me, it's going to be this entire section here. And when I let go, you'll see that it's kind of outlined. And then I'm going to say add new zone. And it created zone 1. I'm going to call that cargo. And then I'm going to say it can haul things there, and we'll learn about that eventually, and barter. This becomes a barter zone. It can put things in there that we buy, and it can sell things that are there as well without having to carry them. So when we get these huge things that you literally can't carry, that you have to drag around, you can leave them there, and it'll just sell directly out of your cargo hold. I personally like that. You can also set the color if you like. I tend to set it to something bright so I can see it. There you have it. But now we're going to go up to supplies, and then we're going to put that to use a little bit, at least for the buying. So at supplies, we want to see what tools they have. And here we go. So the best tool to get in the game is this Lance laser torch, Weber Lance laser torch. You'll notice it's very expensive. It's $28,000. The batteries for it, let's see if we see one here. There it is $11,000. They're expensive. These other tools, like the power drill, which replaces the screwdriver for us, the power drill, $400. It comes with a GOT battery. We can also buy an extra GOT battery at $75. You can see there's a huge jump in the price of those things. And that's because the laser torch is the top of the line repair tool, and it does everything. It does everything. It cuts, it welds, it grinds, a couple of other things. It tells us there if we read it. A range of jobs from soldering to cutting and welding. So those are the power three that it will do. It will replace some things that we currently have, but we want one of those. We want an angle grinder that helps with cutting. And we have a soldering iron, so we don't need to mess with that. The other one is the friction stir welder. We have one of those. We picked that up out of that one locker. Now, the other thing, though, is these things all run on batteries. They will all have batteries initially, and that's fine. I'm pretty sure they come with a battery when you buy them. I will need to check on that, come to think of it. It won't hurt if we go ahead and buy an extra battery, though. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to buy one Halverson battery, and we're going to buy one GOT Power Tools battery. And then we're also going to buy chargers for those. And you'll notice the chargers are pretty cheap, too. And in fact, even the Weber laser charger, while way more expensive than these at $30 each, comes in at $1,000, is still much cheaper than the battery itself. So we will buy that charger and that charger. Did I just buy a second one? No, one's here. I was looking at this number over here. This is how many are available. So we could pick up some more batteries if we want. I'm not going to right now. We don't burn through batteries like at a ridiculous rate, but it is something to pay attention to. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to accept that, and it will be $978 worth of tools that we're picking up. And then we're going to go to sell, and will they buy our tools? Let's see if they'll buy our tools. It doesn't look like they will buy our tools. So the soldering iron has a battery in it. The friction welder has a battery in it, but they won't buy them. And they won't buy our tactical knife either, which I wouldn't mind getting rid of because I don't need it at this point. I've got the cutlass. So nonetheless, let's close that out. We're going to come up here to we buy scrap. They might buy those tools off of us. And really, it's two factors here. One, we don't need to be using the space because we don't need them anymore. For the hacksaw, we've got the grinder, so we will sell that. For the screwdriver, we have the driver, so we'll sell that. It's not a lot of money, but it's something, right? We're going to hold on to the soldering iron. I don't think the welder can do soldering. I think that's actually a separate thing. I can't remember for sure, but we're going to hold on to it. And we did say the screwdriver. Yeah, so we've gotten rid of those. We're in good shape. The tactical knife, they won't even buy it. It's used. It probably isn't in very good condition, so they won't even buy it. So we're going to go ahead and accept this. That'll only be $36, but dollar's a dollar, right? And then we're going to come down here, and here we see all of the stuff that we bought from the supply desk. It dropped it into this barter zone in our cargo hold, and that's fantastic. Incidentally, that blinking light, that means that the light is needing to be restored, and we could do that real quick. But first, because we're talking about this and I don't want to get sidetracked, really good at doing that to myself, we're going to put the bag down. We are going to pick up some of these things. And the good old-fashioned crowbar, you always need the crowbar, it seems. We're gonna set these up right now so that we have them and we're good to go. And okay, that last one was a little bit off here that I couldn't quite see it. It was off the ground picture there. So there we go. So tools, here's one tool. And we want to leave these in the backpack, although these pouches are the backpack. We don't want to put them in our pockets because those pockets are a part of the jumpsuit. And if we're on another ship, we're usually not in the jumpsuit. We're usually in our pressure suit. We'll be leaving our tools behind. So we want to hang on to those. Instead, what we'll do right now, I'm going to install these over here. I tend to like to put the batteries in an engineering zone, which will be this eventually, but it's just not very big. So instead, we'll come over here and we're going to install these out of our backpack. We're literally just going to right click on that and say install, which is 3. And then what you do is the feet are where you will stand to use it. And the plug is where it is getting power from. And you hit R to rotate it. And that looks perfect, just like that. I'm not sure I can actually put the other one here. I can't remember. We might have to put it up here. But you'll notice he's installing it at 4 times speed. If we speed him all the way up, it only took a moment. And then let's do the other one. Right click, install, rotate, rotate, rotate. I'm not sure to let me here. It did. Okay. So he can technically stand on this corner to access it, and it's okay with that. And we'll pick up time just a little. As you can see, that one isn't too terribly complex to install either. Now we have these tools, and we were restoring something before at 2 times speed. And I want to see if we do it faster now that we have better tools. It was the transponder. We're going to right click and we're going to say restore. And let's see what happens there when he gets there. He's at 4 times speed now. So he's going to restore it twice as fast as he was before, but it's still going to take a while. The transponder is pretty complex and he doesn't have the great skills for doing that. If we right click on him, what we might see, if we look in here, training robotics and training combat engineering, training electrical engineering, and that's the one that's bumping every time he does something, you'll notice. Boing, 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 right? It's up to 1%. He will continue to gain experience there until he's to 100%, and then he will have the skill. And if we did this again at that point, we would see this would go up from 4 times to another number, perhaps 5 or 6. I think the maximum I've seen is 16. But there you have it. That is what is happening there. Now, I do want him to completely restore this, so I'm going to go ahead and let him just finish that out. And when he's done, I'm going to hit autotask so we don't waste any time. And he's done. So he went on to the next job, which looks like it is restoring the light. Well, we wanted that because the light was flickering, and I don't like that. And when he's done with the light, he'll move on to something else like the floor. Currently, he's still on the light. But there you have it. You get the idea. So we're going to pause that. We're going to turn off autotask. I believe he'll finish his current task, but when he's done with that task, he will stop. And he's done now. And of course, the light probably is considered electrical engineering as well. So that was bumping up that training for him. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Now, one other thing we want to do before we leave the station, and well, 2 things. We want to clean up the ship quite a bit. If you get a hole in your hull, for instance, you will effectively suffocate, right? Because the air will leave the ship and you won't have any breathable air. Your pressure suit will work for a while, but it doesn't last very long. It's a matter of minutes, not hours. An EVA suit has a battery and an oxygen supply, so it can last for a very long time, but this won't. So what I want to do right now is I want to get rid of these seats. And we're going to uninstall them, and then we're going to sell them once we're done uninstalling them. And here's what I like to do to uninstall them. I come over here to orders. We're going to get to learn how this works. We have these orders we can give. Cancel tells it to remove an order that you've given it. Okay, that should be kind of understandable. We have uninstall. We have scrap, repair, dismantle, and haul. I'm not fully sure I know the difference between dismantle and scrap. Frankly, I don't use those 2 pretty much ever. I do that manually when I want to do it. A couple of reasons for that, and you'll see that as you play through the game. So these are the commands I can do, and then these are the things I can do those commands to. I can do it to walls, to floors, to conduit, to, I think that's canisters is what it is, equipment, or things that are loose. So something that's loose, for instance, is this tote bag. It's just out there on the floor. Now, that might not be exactly what it's referring to. if we pull up this piece of floor and we set it down here, it will have little triangles in the corner to make us understand that it's not installed. It's loose and sitting on the floor. That's kind of what this is referring to. I can't recall if it would actually work on the tote or not. What we want to do right now is select equipment. So I'm going to turn all of these off and I'm going to say uninstall. And I'm literally going to click on that seat and oops. Yeah, so what I have seen, if you're not careful, is you can end up accidentally getting floor instead of seat. And I want to be very careful about that and hit the middle of these. There we accidentally got floor or light. That could be either one. That should be good. And then we'll use cancel to cancel well, that cancels all of it. So since we don't have floor turned on here, it won't accidentally pick up floor. I'm clicking up here, nothing is happening, right? Same with wall, it won't accidentally remove wall. But if I had floor clicked, it'd be happy to do it. Since I have equipment, there we go. That is all good. Now you're probably saying, okay, so what's next? These are marked to be worked on by my crew. We could look at the task list and you can see uninstall passenger seat, uninstall passenger seat, uninstall passenger seat, right? Then what we do, time is running right now. So, you know, the clock is ticking, the lights are flashing, you can kind of tell. We're going to say autotask. He'll start to work on those. And there he goes. Uninstall times 20. Okay, it goes up to 32, I think. I think that's the maximum number I've seen. That seat is done. He's done with it. And we can minimize this. He's still on autotask. He's just going to work on all of them. And now they are all done. So we're going to pause. And since we're on autotask, he immediately, once he's done with the orders you gave him, he starts to restore stuff. So he's literally working on the floor again. He will want to fix the floor. Incidentally, if the floor wears completely through to where it's damaged, you have a hole in your hull. That's important to know. The next thing I want to do, we're going to go back to orders, and I'm going to keep it on. No, I'm actually going to turn off equipment. I'm going to turn on loose, and I'm going to say repair. And we're going to repair this seat, and this seat, and this seat, and this seat. And you're probably saying, why are you repairing it? Because if I repair it, I can sell it for more. And right now, money is more important than time. They're both important, but money is probably more important. So I'm going to kill that. And I'm going to let him finish repairing that piece of floor. And when he's done, he should start repairing these seats. Now, while that's happening, we'll kind of watch him and let him rip here for a minute. I want to talk about the shifts down here. We have, there are four of them. There are 4 6-hour shifts each day, plus that extra 24 minutes of time where you can't really order folks to do anything. But at the end of each shift, and each of these lines marks the end of a shift, we have to pay our mortgage. So we have to pay our mortgage 4 times a day, and our mortgage payment currently looks like $2,300. So we need to come up with some money, and we have to do that by either running gigs, or I guess you could technically rob folks. But the easiest way to do that is to go out and salvage. And so we'll do that here in a moment. Looks like he's on to restoring wall now, and that's, again, important. Let's see where that stands. Yeah, he's almost got that one fixed, but we're going to turn off auto task. All right, I'll let him do the one he's on now. And then we're going to go and sell these seats. Okay, he's done. Slowing time back down to ×2. Let's see if we can get well, we'll do this in order. First, let's go here and try to trade. They'll buy almost anything. And we go to sell, and we go to cargo. This is our section in our ship. And we see that they have these seats, but he's not interested in any of them. So they won't buy it. That's fine. We could also try the license desk, but we'd have to buy the license first. And the licenses expire in 24 hours. Technically, there's other licenses too, but for now, it will expire in 24 hours. Wouldn't be the worst thing to try it, but we also want to try downstairs at the black market and the sundries desk. Let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and buy this license. So we're going to come over here and buy a license for $5,000. And then we'll go out and do some salvaging so that we're using said license. Incidentally, there is no indication that anything happened here when it buys it, other than the kiosk purchases a yellow salvage license. I'm not going to try, sorry. Except I purchased it, the kiosk didn't. That's kind of interesting. If we look at our inventory, we're now holding a little ticket. That ticket you want to put probably in your backpack, and you want to have it close at hand. And then the idea being you have it available to you for use, you have it on you and you can look at it by right-clicking it and saying read. You don't want to bash it, believe me, and it tells you when it expires. And so if we look at this, today is the 26th, and it is 15:22, and this is good till the 27th at 15:01. So we've already burned through a couple of minutes just sitting there watching it, apparently, and we will be able to use it for a full day, which will allow us to go through 4 shifts of payments of mortgage. So real quick, I'm sorry. Let's see what they would buy those seats for. So now we go in here, instead of buy license, we're going to say trade. Incidentally, if you hit license info, it'll tell you more about the licenses is what it's going to do. Let's go into sell and see if they will buy the seats, and they will. They're only willing to pay $226 each. So let's keep that in mind. And if we can't get a better price elsewhere, we'll sell them here. Sometimes you can sell seats for as much as like $700. So I'm kind of hoping maybe the black market wants them. We're going to go down and talk to him now that we have something to actually sell him. We bought that cutlass from him, if I recall. And there we go. We're going to move it over here, tell him to walk. And we'll right-click him, offer to trade. I usually pause before clicking that so I don't actually like hit, melee or something like that if the menu changes quickly. As we can see, remember that charging station for the Weber was $1,000? Here, it's only $780. The battery was $11,000. Here, it's only $8,500. And those are both like new, so it's as good as it gets. And of course, other things have values as well. We'll eventually want to get an EVA suit if we don't find one, and here would be a good deal for one. Nonetheless, we're going to go to sell. Cargo, he's not interested in the seats. That's not unusual. He often isn't interested in things like that. He tends to want the higher end stuff that you need to build out a ship. So that's fine. But the other place that might be willing to buy it is Sundries. We're going to go up there. And there we go. We are paused and we will go to sell. Will they buy anything? They will buy them, but they're only going to buy them for $40 a piece. So we went from like, $250 down to $40. We're definitely not selling them here. We could sell that tote, but we want to use the tote. We're going to put stuff in it, let it space get used wisely. So nothing going on there. And just for fun, we'll look at the buy and make sure there's nothing that we must have. I can't imagine there would be right now. You'll notice you can't exactly come down here and buy floor and build out a ship. You can only buy 21 of them right now of this particular type if you want to keep it, uniform. When you're building a floor for a ship, 10 by 10 would be 100 squares, and that, wouldn't work here. So just something to note. We will be doing a lot of salvaging of floors and walls, and we'll learn more about that as we go. So we're going to hit escape, and we're going to go back to the main level and sell it to the license desk. Earn 1,000 of our dollars back from them. And here we go. Licensees only. That's what it should say. Boy, I'm having trouble talking today. And there we go. We're going to go to, they don't tend to sell anything, so we are going to sell to them. Cargo and those passenger seats, we can still sell all of them. Hey, they would have bought the tote too. I'm not used to seeing that. The case for those tools isn't necessarily a bad thing to sell. It takes up 2 spaces and you only get 3 out of it. That's not really great conversion. I think I might go ahead and sell that. Cash is king right now. We will get to there's a couple of tipping points in the game. There will be a tipping point where you're not so worried about making your next payment. Right now, I'm worried about that. We can't do it, and we will instill a penalty if we don't pay it. So we need to get cracking there. The second thing is you'll get to a point where you can pay easily. Then you will, and not have to sweat it. you'll get to a point where you can pay everything off, and that's great. Once you're there, you can start buying other ships and doing ship flipping. The thing is, it takes a long time to get there. It's not something you can just say, oh, okay, in 3 hours, real human time, I want to be doing that. It will probably take you longer than that. Maybe not. You might get some breaks. You might find some really valuable stuff quickly. But it will take some time. And we're going to go ahead and accept this. We want that money. It's about $1,000. We'll find a way to spend it, I'm sure. And we're going to come back to our ship. And the last thing we're going to do right now is I'm literally going to set him to autotask. And I'm just going to have him repair everything. And this will take a while. We're not going to watch every second of this. But I do want him to kind of get everything to a point where it's restored and in pristine condition before I shove off. That can take a while. Now, I have to be mindful, though, that I have a limited amount of time. If you get a proximity alarm, it will, first of all, annoy the heck out of you with the beep. And second of all, it does set your clock to one time, and that is important. To kill the alarm, you have to go into your nav console and either turn the console off, or you have to turn off the alarm, and we'll learn how to do that in a future episode. For now, I think we're going to end this particular episode, and the promise is in the next episode, we will leave the station. We will go find a ship to salvage, and we will learn a little bit about that. I hope you'll hang around for that. That probably is a spot that a lot of you are waiting for, and we're almost there. We are ready to start doing the salvaging of the game and trying to expand our ship and all the fun stuff. So I want to thank you for hanging out and learning these fundamental parts of the game now, and we will start to click with how we navigate through the screens and get things done in the next episodes. Thank you so much for your time, and until next time, fair travels.